So let me start this off by saying that last week I was on Facebook and I saw one of my friends on Facebook. They asked a question. They said, in one word, what's ruining the world? So this episode is going to be about my answer to that question. However, as I say my answer, you can think about what your answer would be and how you would relate that to all of what I'm saying. Welcome back to another episode of the Hypergrowth Zone podcast. My name is Alex Morgan, and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. So, what was my answer? In one word, what's ruining the world? To reveal my answer, it is fear. So during this episode, let's look at why fear is the root of a lot of problems, why it holds us back, what this really means for breaking free from fear, and how choosing something else or other things or doing other things instead, like love, can change everything. So let's look at these things in one word, what's ruining the world. So why is fear the root of so many problems? Fear is really a combination of being stuck, procrastination, inaction, causes division, stagnation, fear of failure, fear of success. So it's the common denominator behind all of those things and so many other things. So this is why I believe that fear is the problem. Let's look at some examples. Me, for example, if I'm scared to do something and I have fear, what does it do? It causes inaction. Maybe it causes you to procrastinate a bit. It causes you to think a bit longer on a decision that can be made right away, automatically, naturally. The media, for example, they use fear to create division amongst people. They use fear to create stagnation, so people don't really do anything. They use fear, and then they act like they're also keeping everyone safe all at the same time. So, really interesting. The problem with that is they're giving you a negative emotion, and if they're acting like they're also keeping you safe, what is really safety? Yes, it's a positive intention. Yes, it can lead to wonderful things. But safety, it keeps you in that same place. It doesn't really have you change. I've seen a lot of people who have a lot of potential, and instead, they want to be safe, as they say, or play it safe, as they say. They want safety. Or why aren't you making me feel safe? People say. Well, other people are in control of their results in their mind. At the same time, if you're not taking risks, this is exactly what the people running the world probably want you to stay in the same place. So if we think about it, the decisions that we make, this is why fear is really root of the problem. The decisions that we make, where do they come from? They either come from fear or they come from love. So what decisions do you think are going to be better? What decisions are going to be more abundant and which are going to be more scarcity based? So those decisions, think about it. Fear shrinking possibilities. Where love expands possibilities. It's going to lead to new choices, new and better decisions. It's going to lead to more opportunities and possibilities. So fear is at the root of all of this. And a bit later I'll explain too why if you get rid of fear, it can get rid of so many other things. So fear, it also holds you back. Why is this? Now, if you ask someone why they're not doing something, asking the question why, they're going to give you all of their excuses. So if someone is telling you they don't want to do something, chances are they could have some fear, they could have some self-doubt. They're trying to think logically when that doesn't really make much sense too, when they're also feeling fear. So fear disguises itself as these things, as excuses, as doubts, as logic. If someone's giving an excuse that, let's say you're selling them something, they say, oh, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't believe you. A, you didn't get enough information from them to really sell them the product. B, they could be scared about taking the next step. So if you could get rid of that objection, they'll probably feel a lot more comfortable jumping in instead of basing their decision around fear. So fear is disguised in many different things. So when you talk to people, they may not just say, I'm scared, or I have fear. They may say different things. They come up with excuses. They have doubts. So pay attention to all of that. So some common examples: not starting a business because fear of failure. Interesting. Some people also have a fear of success. I was doing an exercise last night and I had a fear. It came out that I had a fear of really being the person that I am. And the thing is I can be that person right now. I'm enjoying making this episode and I'm enjoying talking about this, so I am being that person. No one's making me make this episode. I'm making it because I want to, and I feel like doing it, and I feel inspired to do it. So if I was continuously acting from that state, of course, there's no fear because I'm inspired to do whatever I want. So not starting a business because of fear of failure, or fear of being judged, a fear of what people are going to think of you, feeling like you're going to lose something if you do it. So these are all common examples that you see all the time. The second one, not leaving a relationship because of a fear of being alone. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? That people are not going to leave a relationship that they may not even want to be in because they have a fear of being alone. So do you see how they stop people from making decisions, from taking action, from procrastinating? We probably don't view it as procrastinating, like we're procrastinating in a relationship. Oh, I'm not going to leave that relationship because of whatever reason. So you're showing that cause has a certain effect because you're using the word because there. Or not saying what's on your mind, not speaking your truth, not doing what you want to do because of a fear of rejection. So what is also behind a lot of these? What's hidden behind this in our unconscious programming as well? What's hidden behind there? It's almost like every time that we say, I can't, it's almost like there's a hidden fear there. Or have you ever heard someone say, I would love to be able to blank, do whatever they want to do? What's that? Yeah, that's some sort of limiting belief. That's them essentially saying that they can't do it. They would love to be able to. So why don't they have it right now? If you ask why, we'll get excuses. If you say, what specifically are you not doing that'll help you get there? Or how do you look at that on a deeper level? Then you'll get more information as well. So we want to look at what's behind that as well. So really pay attention. Now that you know this, pay attention to what people are saying. And that'll help you guide them and help you notice your own programming as well. Now we want to look at fear and decisions. Because most things people don't do, when they don't take action, they procrastinate, they don't make that decision, they don't take that risk, we can probably relate it in some way to driven by fear. It's probably driven by some limiting belief, fear, negative emotion. So let's just say fear here. Because, like I said, I was asked, what's the one thing ruining the world? And I said fear. So indecision. So fear creates mental clutter. People think, oh, what if? They overthinking. They don't actually make the decision. Now, let me tell you something that I've seen over the years while I'm working with people. And this is why it's so good to get rid of fear. Because some people argue that there's only two really main emotions, fear and love. So when you clear out fear, decisions become easy, clear, automatic, natural. That indecision is just fear in disguise. That's a good way to look at it. Now, what I've noticed, let's say someone has a fear of success and they're working on a fear of success. They think that when they actually have success, they're going to lose things. I've worked with some really successful people, and I do right now, and some may think that when they achieve certain things, they're not going to have time with their family, their loved ones. They're not going to have time for other things that they're going to do because they haven't really let go of the how they're going to do something yet. They're focused on the how. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Well, that's also part of the fear. So when the fear is cleared out, decisions become simple and more clear, easy and more effortless. Because what's wrapped inside that fear, usually? If we were to look at where does a certain fear originate, like what's the root cause of it in your mind, I'm not saying to find that right now. If we do that and you go back to that time and you find the root cause of that fear and we let go of the fear right then and there, chances are inside of that fear, which you didn't even know, inside of it is also some sort of decision or limiting decision that you made. You decided something at that point too. So the wonderful thing is once you let go of the fear, you also are going to let go of that limiting decision. So you're letting it all go at once. I'm not saying that's going to clear out every single problem that you've ever had, all of your unconscious programming that you don't want anymore. However, if you get rid of fear, you're also getting rid of any limiting decisions that come along with it. Because chances are, when you created that fear, you decided to create it at some point. Think about that. That you also decided something. You made some sort of decision that told you that, okay, it's safer to have this fear instead of do the thing that I want to do. It's safer to have this fear instead of have the success. It's safer to do nothing than take a risk. It's safer to do nothing instead of fail. So you made some sort of decision. Maybe you're like, I didn't act on that because I don't think I deserve to have that business. I didn't act on that and I had fear because I don't think I can also make enough money. Or I'm not good enough. Or I don't feel like I love myself. Whatever it is. So usually there's some sort of decision wrapped in there. So fear can really ruin the world, because if we all vibrated and had the frequency of love, I mean, the world would be a wonderful place. Have you ever been around someone that you totally loved? I mean, it was amazing, right? Maybe you're doing it right now. Maybe you're listening to the podcast of someone you totally love, and you're looking at them and you're like, yeah, this is amazing. If you're sitting next to someone, though, and you both have fear, it's probably a totally different experience. So let's see how you can get rid of fear. You could notice when fear is driving your decisions. So maybe there's a decision that you want to make and you haven't made. Fear is driving that decision. And you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this to let this fear go right now, completely? And what can I choose instead? What if I choose love instead of fear? That's right. That shifts the perspective. That flips your mind, showing you that there's other choices, other possibilities. So you can ask those questions. What can you learn from it? And the learnings are positive. the learnings are about yourself. That's right, they're about yourself. So I am, I have. And they're not in the past. They're future based. So think about that. Those are the learnings. And then what do you want to feel instead? What if you chose love instead? What would happen? Probably a totally different outcome, right? So that'll shake up the model of the world that you have around that fear. It may not blow it out completely, but it'll shake it up to where you're actually thinking of different choices, opportunities, and possibilities. Another way is to take action. Remember, fear causes procrastination, inaction, indecisiveness. So do something. Do something to build momentum. And when you do that, reward your mind, reward yourself. Get yourself something. Eat your favorite meal. Buy a pair of shoes. Go for that nice walk. Whatever it is, do something for yourself. And surround yourself with people who encourage action. When you have an idea, think about this. When you have an idea right now and you tell people around you, what are they telling you? Are they telling you to do it and do it as fast as possible? Or are they telling you, oh, you shouldn't do that, just wait. I don't know if you want to take that risk, be safe. Now, I'm not saying take every single risk. Logically, you understand your own situation and what you want to do. If you really want to get rid of fear, though, take action. You don't care what people think. They're pushing their own fears, their own insecurities, their own projection of how they feel onto you, possibly with what they're telling you. So always consider this when you're asking people for their opinion. What is it that they're really telling you? Is it maybe what they would do? And maybe that's not what you should do. So it may be time to really upgrade your environment and be around people who are going to encourage you to take action and people who aren't operating out of fear in their unconscious mind. So you can install this new way of thinking by asking those questions, taking action and doing things every single day, even if it pushes you. The idea is to push yourself. That's how you're going to get what you want. It doesn't matter how. You don't need to know all the steps. How? What you need to do is push yourself. And naturally, you surrender to the how and you'll know exactly how to do it because your mind already knows. And when you get rid of fear, your mind's going to be much more clear, much more focused on what you want, and it will totally and completely already know. So thanks so much for tuning in, and answer that question for yourself in one word. What's ruining the world? It's probably not the best question to think about. When someone posted it, though, I thought, why not? It's fear. That was my answer. It popped in my mind. That's what I went with. Fear, indecisive. Love is going to open every opportunity that you have. Most inaction is fear. When you release fear, decisions become clear. So if this episode, you enjoyed listening to it, share it with someone you care about. Like I said on the other episodes, I know a lot of people are sharing these episodes because more and more people are listening. So I really appreciate that. If you want help to release a specific fear, or let go of a specific fear, or find out what that fear is for you, reach out to me. All my information will be in the description of the episode. Because together, when we work together, remember, fear can cause some division. When we work together, we can help a lot of people. Show them, hey, there's love, not fear. So thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.